And now for Schmirkos FAQ video. Because if there's one thing people have been asking for, it's German? How do you German? Oh shit, shit's getting real. Yep, it's all set up, Schmirko, you're fine.
So, und damit hallihallo, liebe Leute, und ganz herzlich willkommen zu dem ersten EM-Schmirko Frage-Antwort-Video. Ihr habt mir eure Fragen angemeldet.
What is that thing? You're gonna do, like, put on some makeup?
Zum ersten Mal, weil wir haben ein ganz besonderes Jubiläum zu feiern. Und zwar feiern wir die 8000 Abonnenten, Leute.
If you're 8,000 subscribers, you do a Q&A. Most people would wait for 10k, stuff like that. But hey, you do you, bro. I can think of a better thing to do.
Es fühlt sich immer noch so surreal an, so unreal.
Actually, now I think about that thing might be your
mic. Da muss man sich
mic.
erstmal vorstellen, was das für eine große Nummer ist. Das sind, weiß nicht, zig Kinosäle.
Many cinema
Es ist
theaters.
irgendwie ironisch, weil man fängt jedes Yu-Gi-Oh! Duell an mit
Ah,
1000
now that's a reason I can get behind. I like that. That's smart.
Es ist surreal, Leute. Es ist einfach geil. Auf jeden Fall Hammer, Leute. Vielen Dank dafür, dass ihr mir die Treue gehalten habt.
No,
Und
I'm
ich hoffe auch,
banning
dass
you
ihr
tomorrow. No,
weiterhin
I'm kidding.
dabei bleibt. Die nächste magische Nummer ist die 10.000. Ich habe schon auf Facebook
Fuck 9,000.
Und deshalb habe ich euch gefragt, ob ihr mir eure Fragen einsenden wollt, die ihr mir schon immer mal stellen wolltet. Wir haben 12 verschiedene Leute, die uns Fragen eingesendet haben.
Really? Only 12 for 8,000
Ganz oft auch
people?
mehrere. Dafür bin ich euch sehr, sehr dankbar. Dann würde ich sagen, legen wir einfach mal los. Erste Frage. Sebastian Hina. Wow, Schmirko, yes, I would like to join your video and my questions are... First, when did you start playing Yu-Gi-Oh? The first time I got in contact with Yu-Gi-Oh was around 2003, 2004, more like 2003.
Most
I
likely.
was in primary school. I was just 7 or 8 years old. Quite a little guy.
Yeah.
Well, the first time I saw Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I think it was from a friend. I think it was from a friend of the neighbor class. Well, I was in second class back then. And he showed them to me and I was like, okay, they look interesting. And yeah, it turned out that I was really pulled by the Yu-Gi-Oh hype back then as well. There was a very huge Yu-Gi-Oh hype back then in Germany. And yeah, I was definitely a part of it.
They're gonna happen around the world.
So 2003 means I was in it almost from the beginning. Second, have you ever traveled to New Zealand? Have you ever traveled to New Zealand? And if so, where? No, I haven't traveled there yet, but in the future it is still possible. 3.
Same for me.
How you ever had partner in your duels? I interpreted.
Have you not watched the movie series?
I think you want to know
Or
if I ever had a
RDS?
partner as Schmirko in the serious universe. No matter if it is during the time travel or in Schmirko's own time. Well, not a partner like
Or maybe meant like
this
physical
in duels,
duels,
not
like something like that?
in tech duel. Schmirko definitely has friends in his own time.
Like
But
on like a
during
table or
the
something?
time travel, he is mostly alone, just as in the episodes you have seen so far. When
So
will
no
the
partners.
story of you and
It's not
Lel
like
and
tag duels.
Agaton come out? Well, currently we don't have an exact date when it will come out. If you have watched the latest video of RLDS where they talk about the future of the channel, they have talked about the topic already. We have a complete script. We have even storyboards, but it depends on when we have time. You know, it is mainly
No rush.
Larion, Adrian, and me. That's all. Just the 3 of us.
That's fine,
The
bro.
important point is
You need
that
to
we
rush it.
have time for it. But as you know, at the moment 4 projects of mine are currently prepared, and they will come first. After that, we will definitely think about when we will shoot this episode, so definitely stay tuned. 5, and lastly, any idea on when the Ghost Ship will be released? Well, as you know, the Ghost Ship episode is the 3rd of my 4 projects, which means it will come after the cyberspace incident and after the Secret Real Life project. An exact date isn't sure yet because, well, COVID-19 makes the complete thing unpredictable, so I don't really
At
know
least
yet when it will
that's
come.
finally coming
I
to an
hope
end, though.
maybe during the next year, at the beginning of the next year, because it will be a lot of digital work, and for that I will also invite an actor who lives a few hundred kilometers away from me, and
I have
yeah,
no idea
we
how
will
far that
only
actually
start
is.
shooting when
Maybe
both of us
a few
are
blocks, maybe the next time over,
vaccinated.
I don't know.
Is that the word? Vaccinated against COVID-19. So if both of us
Vaccinate.
got the vaccine against COVID-19,
Vaccine.
we will definitely be able to shoot. Before that, it is not possible.
Vaccinate?
Thank you, Schmirko, for being such an amazing, legendary duelist and an inspiration to me and my girlfriend Izzy, who is starting her training into Yu-Gi-Oh! And to other young duelists out there.
Run-on
Okay,
sentences,
that was
they're
a pretty
great.
long story. You're welcome.
Cool story, bro.
Nächste Frage auf Deutsch kommt von Chantal
back to
Quintes.
German.
Was ist dein Lieblings-Yu-Gi-Oh! Story Arc? Duel Monsters, Shadow Realm, Noah Kaiba, Orichalcos, GX, Yubei, wenn du alle Serien gesehen hast. Das ist jetzt die Frage. Du hast jetzt so ein bisschen gemischt zwischen Yu-Gi-Oh! Staffeln und Yu-Gi-Oh! Serien.
Makes sense.
Ich werde mal versuchen, auf beides einzugehen. Also, meine Lieblings-Yu-Gi-Oh! Serie ist definitiv das Original. Also, meiner Meinung nach kommt da keine
That's fine, perfectly respectable.
Meine Lieblingsstaffel kommt ebenfalls aus der Serie, und zwar ist das
the Orichalcos arc.
Na, also die Orichalcos Staffel.
Yeah.
Nächste Frage kommt
That's a
von
good season.
Grüße hier raus. Meine Frage
It's fun.
dich,
It's like an actual
hast du
movie.
ein
It's just fun.
besonderes Ziel, das du mit deinem Kanal erreichen
Oh,
möchtest
that
oder
aim
vielleicht
said
sogar hast?
arm for a second. I
Und was ist dein
misread that.
persönlicher Traum,
You have a
den du
special
hast,
arm?
den du dir unbedingt erfüllen möchtest, koste es, was es wolle.
Having an actual mansion like Schmirko.
Jedes Mal, wenn sie gestellt wird,
Yeah, you can't ask
spontan
someone
sofort
that's circle what they
beantworten,
want to do with their
weil
life.
im Grunde
Shouldn't know.
kann man jedes Mal neu darüber nachdenken. Aber was mich angeht,
Nice
also
YouTube
das
name,
Ziel
by the way.
mit dem Kanal,
Gungnir. I
also
like that shit.
in erster Linie möchte ich Spaß haben. Und ich möchte diesen Spaß mit euch teilen, also mit euch allen.
And that's the important
Aktuell,
part. Just have fun.
ist mein statistisches Ziel, sagen wir
10,000
mal so,
subs, and then after that, I'll be
und,
20,000,
aktuell
and so on and so
mein
forth.
liebstes Ziel, was Content auf dem Kanal angeht, hoffe ich, dass der Real-Life-Content, ja, den ich aktuell mache, bei euch beliebt bleibt und noch ein bisschen an Beliebtheit gewinnt. Also ich denke, da ist noch definitiv Potenzial, auch was deutsche Zuschauer angeht. Da hier in meinem eigenen Heimatland, denke ich, könnte ein bisschen mehr Aufmerksamkeit den
I don't know a lot of German series, so yeah, that'd be interesting. German Yu-Gi-Oh! Series specifically.
Hier in Deutschland durch den
Yeah.
YouTube-Algorithmus nicht so oft gezeigt werden. Also das wäre auf jeden Fall schon cool, wenn da sich noch einiges tut. Ich tue mein Bestes, um auch den Content hier in Deutschland den Leuten näher zu bringen. Aber ansonsten, ja, bin ich von Natur aus ein Gamer-Kanal und dem werde ich auf jeden Fall auch treu bleiben und ich hoffe, dass ihr auch weiterhin meinem Gaming-Content folgen werdet. Das gilt auch für die simulierten Anime-Duelle und all die anderen Sachen, die ich noch mache. Manchmal noch die Musik aus der Serie, der Soundtrack. Also,
Yeah, I
das ist
noticed.
mein Ziel, dass ihr da
As long as you don't get copyright claims, then you're in trouble.
mir treu bleibt bei diesen verschiedenen Sachen. The next question comes from
English.
Abyssal from Discord. So Schmirko came to the present by mistake. If so, what was he trying to do? Was he minding his own business at the time of this and happened to stumble through a gateway? Did he go through a time machine?
It's all
intending to go
spoilers.
somewhere else, but it malfunctioned and sent him back in time? Well, you are right. Schmirko came back to the time of Tamash, Benzel, Lehel and Co. by mistake. That is true. You know it from Schmirko vs. Shadow Lord. And, well, when it comes to his time travel, there are still some secrets which need to be revealed.
You can't just spoil it
Will
here.
be revealed in the movie, Yu-Gi-Oh! FD the movie. It would be some kind of spoiler. So when it comes to the topic, what Schmirko was doing before he was time traveling, that will be revealed mostly in the movie. So definitely stay tuned to that. Next is Gary from Yu-Gi-Oh!
Ooh,
Hungary
nice.
7. Greetings. First,
How do you do,
when
fellow
did you start
Yu-Gi-Ohs?
playing Yu-Gi-Oh! That question was already answered, almost.
Gary, you copycat!
2003, 2004 was my contact, but
Okay, I imagine you're going to be
first
answering that
playing-
question quite a
the
bit.
first time when I actually played, I didn't really play seriously.
You only play seriously the first
We
try.
played I played mostly
Like,
with,
you even thought you were serious?
some
You weren't
friends
serious. If
in
you
the
actually
school, on the
compared it now
schoolyard,
with then.
with some crappy decks.
It's
And,
not your first time
well,
visiting
yeah,
a pile
that
of
was the time
trash.
when I started. Also, one of the first times when I got in contact with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was actually a card magazine. I have it still until today.
Really?
This is the very first card magazine which I have ever bought, which has contained Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think you know it. It is a German magazine called
I wouldn't.
Kids Zone. Well, you can already see here. Here's
Yeah.
Kaiba on the front.
With Pikachu?
It's the case because at that point, when that magazine was released, the Power of Chaos game Kaiba the Revenge came on the market. And
They want to
here
market
it
it.
is.
Yeah, logically.
Here it is described and here shown how good it is. Second, what is your favorite card from the really old ones? That's an easy answer. I have it right here. It is my all-time favorite, Valkyrian the Magnavaria.
He's badass. You can't beat that.
You may
Right?
be surprised a bit about that, about the choice, because as Schmirko I don't really have much
Because it's not
contact
very
with
good.
Magna Warriors or Magnet Warriors. But in real life, this is definitely my favorite card because I had a break in my Yu-Gi-Oh career when I was interested in other things.
Naturally.
And
It's
when
natural.
I got back into the game, this was one of the first cards which I have seen from Yu-Gi-Oh again. Ironically, I thought this card, I wasn't sure back then, I thought this card was one of the cards to appear in Season 1 of the series,
No.
so Duelist Kingdom. But
It doesn't
you know,
look
it's
like
not
that would
true.
show up in Season 1,
But I
though.
really liked the card back then, especially because of its 3,500 attack
And 3850
beatdown
defense.
strength. And yeah, it definitely stayed in my heart as my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card. Actually, you can also see it a bit in the real-life universe because, as you know, Tamash wanted to shoot a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links series with Impossible Studio, but never did it. And
I remember that.
that should have been originally the time where Schmirko appears for the first time.
Really?
Every character gets a different deck in the series. That was the original idea. And Schmirko should have got a Magna Warrior deck back then. That was my choice. I wanted to have that deck.
Shit, that series never came to be, though.
And by the way, if you look closer, you can actually see that this is the original promo card, which was released with the Game Boy Advance game Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2004. So a really rare card.
I just like the fact that you have all
Also
these
has,
things on standby, like the magazines and the cards. Like, I
also
figured
has
they were going to
the
get these
rarity
questions, so here it
prismatic
is.
Secret rare. You can see here how amazing it looks. Prismatic Secret Rare has become quite rare in the last
Yeah,
years.
because they don't
Conditions
continue
also quite
making
good,
cards of a
and
certain
I'm,
rarity. They
well,
just make
really
up new
proud
shit.
to have it. Congratulations to 8K sub. Thank you. Okay, next question comes from Leslie93.
Oh boy.
Hello. First, can you tell me how you meet? I mean, I have a feel about you, not actually meet with them in real life.
I think what he means is...
Can you tell me how you meet with Larion and Tamash and how you start with that partnership?
like how you actually met them
Yeah, it
IRL.
was already some time ago. It was in 2017 when I
Wow,
met the
that's
first
actually
time
not too
with
long ago.
Larion. I will tell you about Tamash later because someone else asked how I got in contact with Tamash.
Okay.
But yeah, when I first got in contact with Larion in 2017, I think he first appeared in the comments from one of my videos.
Ah.
I think the first time we have talked privately with
Hey,
each
giving
other
out the list
that
ID.
was when he has
Links
written
ID.
me on Facebook. It was the exact day when the Yu-Gi-Oh! RLDS channel was created. So the 25th July 2017.
Thinking that far
Yes,
ahead.
my memory. And yeah, he first showed me a bit what he did. At the time the trailer to RLDS episode 1 was published. He showed it to me and I watched it and I was like, okay, yeah, it has potential, it looks good already. Actually, we first didn't talk much about the real life series. It was also a topic, but we also had other things we have talked about, like Duel Links. Larion was very interested in Duel Links back then, he played a lot. We also played against each other and had a lot of fun. But yeah, we also talked about other things like Yu-Gi-Oh! so not really just that. We also talked about the Yu-Gi-Oh soundtrack. He asked me if he can use the soundtrack which I have uploaded on my channel. I said sure, go ahead. And
it's technically not even yours to begin with.
I don't know when exactly.
But it's nice of him to ask.
He then suddenly asked me, do you have a dual disc? I was like, yes. Do you have a green screen? No, but I can order one. Well, and then he offered me a role. Actually, it was first a cameo role in for Linked Fates. I think at that time it wasn't even sure if Linked Fates should be released as a movie like that, like we got it today. Well, but yeah, I said immediately, sure, I want to be a part of it. And yeah, that's how it turned out. I also bought the Nikon camera, which I am filming with until today. Yeah, so that is basically how we got in contact with each other. And until today we share a very good friendship, and I never have regretted that we have met. Larion is a very nice person. Yeah, as I said, I originally should have become a short cameo role in Linked Fates, where I am seen as Schmirkos, losing to Ronin.
Huh.
But yeah, we...
What an alternate timeline that would have been.
I told him his ideas, which I have for the
Which is
future.
funny, because that was what my prediction, one of my predictions was.
I wanted to do a Yu-Gi-Oh series myself, as
when I did the predictions of the movie.
Info video of mine. And he was like, okay, we can do it like that. I have also chosen my own deck, but that's not the topic here. And yeah, after the success of Linked Fates, which was really incredible, I think one of the
Linked Fates is still an excellent movie, even
videos
today.
Of our LTS until today, if not the most successful. And yeah, after that I also got more the attention of Tamas, mainly because of my ability of dual scripting. And yeah, that's how
you're a good scriptwriter,
involved into Schmirkos. But more to that later. Second, can you tell the story about the past when you meet with Lehel and Agathon? I think I have answered that already in the video. And the whole story how Schmirkos has met Lehel and Agathon
will be saved for later.
That time will be completely revealed in this episode.
Yeah, so no spoilers in that.
So you come from the future. Which century? Concerning this topic, we aren't talking about centuries, but more decades. Because Schmirkos doesn't come so far away from the future. But when we talk
here's
about
what you actually answered.
I cannot say it to you.
Here's how I would have answered it. So far in the future that we've lost the concept of time.
So,
therefore, I can't tell you what century.
Has a lot of secrets.
Just keep it vague.
Yet to be revealed. So you can be sure the movie basically will reveal a lot of secrets. Not only just this time, but a lot of other things too. So definitely stay tuned to it. For Gary has an alter ego in your dimension or in your original timeline.
I don't know.
When it comes to Gary and his series, it needs to make clear that we don't really share the same universe.
No.
For a couple of reasons.
Mostly Gary's interdimensional crap.
Gary's Heritage universe and our RLDS, the movie series universe. Yeah. To be honest, these are two different story universes because there are a few points in Gary's series which don't really exist or don't know.
It's hard to have crossovers considering the fact that it's happening in the past for some of it.
I'll give you just an example for that. Major spoiler coming, attention. In the latest episode of Gary's Heritage series, I think it is episode 11, you can see at the end that Alexander from Tamash series can be seen. And actually we can be sure that it isn't the Alexander from the movie series, because there are actually two obvious reasons for that. As you know, in Heritage there are those three legendary beasts. You know, Shooting Quasar Dragon, Red Nova Dragon.
That's right, and Alexander's protecting the sacred beasts.
If it is one universe.
Or it was until, yeah.
TG Halbert.
Halbert Cannon, yeah.
I think that's the name.
You nailed it.
And yeah, okay, I already said Red Nova Dragon is originally Vance's dragon. And
Yeah, that would really fuck with the timeline.
since in Heritage all of these three monsters only exist once, we can be sure that Banzer is not part of Heritage. So Red Nova belongs to someone else. Now what I wanted to mention is Shooting Quasar Dragon. This monster originally belongs to Alexander in the movie series. Besides the fact that
That's true
it
too.
Also just exists.
Mind you, he still showed up in the.
There's also,
Mind you, he still
reason,
showed up in
because,
the movie
during
Link
the
Wars.
final in episode 6 of the movie series, Alexander was fighting against Tamash. And after Alexander has already summoned one Shooting Quasar Dragon, he said at one point
He could make another.
even though that one Shooting Quasar was destroyed, that doesn't mean that he cannot summon another one. And in the same turn he prepared to summon another one. He didn't make it.
Yeah, because
he
Tamash
was
interrupted it with
trying to
Bottomless.
do that, since he was already talking about it. So,
Oh no, he summoned
this is
Slifer
one
with Call of
more
Haunting
reason
Slifer's effect
that,
activated.
Heritage and the movie series aren't one and the same universe. So to your question, when we see
There's a
Gary
reason
in the movie
that
series,
there's
we
a
can
reason
be
that
sure
when
that
Gary
this
was
is
in the
more
movie
an
series,
alternate universe character.
it's the main
Can be practically
timeline,
the
Gary. That's just what I consider
Same,
it.
maybe with the same background, whatever.
Like, okay, yeah, it could also be a
But,
third
it isn't
universe
one and the
where
same
it's
person
just
as
happens to have
in
the exact
Heritage.
same style that should have.
Okay, also a pretty long story.
Okay.
Sorry for that. Next question.
Heritage does improve on Hungary's
The fact that
consistency,
you come
on Hungary
back and
7's
sometimes
consistency.
help us
It is an improvement.
Does not make any trouble.
But it's
in the
also
timeline.
kind of confusing just naturally, you know?
Yeah, I see
There are some
your
things that
point,
you just can't
but
fix.
First, Schmirko doesn't come sometimes back. As you know from Schmirko vs. Shadow Lord, he came accidentally back in time. So
Yeah, he doesn't just constantly come
didn't
forward
intend
and
to go
back,
in
forward
time.
and back. He
But,
just,
yeah, I see your point.
he's stuck here.
That he goes back in time could actually be a bit of trouble for the timeline itself, since it could be
a butterfly
time-changing.
effect.
Well, but this is also.
I just love this means that in the future,
I think
we
I
have
can tell you
cowboy
Schmirko
attire.
doesn't
Like, we went
really
so
know
far
yet by
above
himself
of
if he's
clothes that we
changing
went
the
back
time or
into
not
it.
with this. But
Like,
you
as
can
we
see
went
in
forward, the
movie,
clothing
also
went
later,
backwards.
Yu-Gi-Oh! FD the movie, that this question will also be answered there. So, yeah.
Does that mean if
6.
at some point there's going to be
This
a
is the last
version
one,
of
as we have to
there's going to be a
slide on.
version of
Which one is your
Schmirko that's
favorite
wearing like
archetype?
ancient
Okay, I
England
think this
clothes
is
or something like
fastly
that?
answered. I played Blue Eyes for a long time, and I
Wait,
think
ancient England,
until
like
today, it is my
Victorian
favorite
era
archetype.
outfits.
Just at the moment, I'm playing Lair of Darkness because I really like that deck too. It has a lot of cool strategies, and at the
Someone
moment,
playing
I
Blue
don't
Eyes.
think
Never heard
about
that one
going
before.
back to Blue
Eh,
Eyes,
who am I to judge?
yeah. Let's say Blue Eyes and Lair of Darkness are currently my favorite archetypes, so both. Number 7. I think it was the last one. The 6. Which is your favorite god card?
Well, at least this one's easy.
Well, when it comes to the TCG god cards, without the anime effects, I think my favorite is Obelisk. Without any support, anything, it is Obelisk. But when you consider the new support which Ra has got from the Rage of Ra pack, I think Ra has become a lot better and valuable. But only due to the support.
Yeah.
Ra alone is, in my opinion, the weakest god card. Just with its.
Some people
defense
argue that
without the
now with
support.
all this stuff that comes out,
So
Slifer's the
Obelisk
weakest.
is my favorite. Slifer is the evergreen tree in the middle. Als nächstes kommt Tim Brandes.
Oh, back
Ich
to
habe mehrere Fragen.
Hungary.
Wann und warum hast du mit Yu-Gi-Oh!
German.
angefangen?
I can't
Okay, das
brain.
wurde bereits beantwortet. Zweitens, wie ist es dazu gekommen, dass du bei der Real-Life-Serie mitmachst? Okay, ich denke, das habe ich auch schon erklärt. Drittens, was ist dein Lieblingsdeck? Habe ich auch schon erklärt. Blue Eyes, also blaueigig, und Höhle der Finsternis, weil ich sie auch selber gespielt habe oder lange gespielt habe. Viertens, in welcher Reihenfolge... Oh, das ist eine gute Frage.
Really?
In welcher Reihenfolge sollte man eigentlich die Real-Life-Serie und die Filme schauen? Das hat mich schon immer ein bisschen verwirrt, weil die ja auf verschiedenen Kanälen kommt.
Oof, that's a good
Wie
question.
gesagt, das ist eine sehr gute Frage. Und ich würde vorschlagen, dass ich dazu eine Playlist mache mit allen Folgen, die zur Serie zählen. Und die ganzen Folgen werde ich dann der Reihenfolge nach
That would be very
zeitlich
helpful.
anordnen.
The problem is you have to track
Das
all them
heißt,
down, which
wenn du diese
isn't too
Playlist
hard to be fair,
anschaust,
but
kannst du
still.
sie von alt nach neu einmal durchschauen. Soweit ich sie dann auch.
That's a very good thing to think about, because, you know, we gotta be careful beginners, and there's so much shit out there.
Als ich mit Larion angefangen habe,
Oh boy.
mich zu unterhalten, da habe ich eine Art Zeitleiste als PDF-Dokument entworfen, und da sind teilweise auch Informationen bei, die bis jetzt noch gar nicht an die Öffentlichkeit gelangt sind, weil sie ziemliche Hintergrundinformationen sind. Ich kann auch anbieten, dass ich diese Zeitleiste im Laufe der Zeit zusätzlich zu der Playlist auch mit den nötigen Informationen veröffentliche, und da kann man dann auch jederzeit durchschauen, wann welches Ereignis stattfand, wann welche Folge stattfand und so weiter. Also das kann ich auf jeden Fall machen. Okay, next one is Playmaker. I would like to ask that how many verbs you can tell in Hungarian, I guess.
How many
Don't
words? Oh,
count
how
on
many
it.
words?
I can't say so many Hungarian words. It is actually as in RADS episode 6, where Schmirkos says he can understand the language quite good, but yeah, he cannot speak it so good, so his grammar is not really good. So in real life it is similar. I can say words like Sziasztok or Palboy. I think that is correct. Time to duel.
Time to duel.
And also I can say Teljes, like in Link Wars. I have said it there. You move. Maybe a few other Hungarian words too.
Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Remember one. Okay, next is Tamas from Impossible Studios.
Ooh,
he
big
asks,
boy.
First, which currently banned card would you want to return, and which you would never? Phew,
One card to come back, and one card to stay gone.
Good question. There are actually a few cards. I think the card which I would want to return the most is Sixth Sense.
Okay.
You know, the trap card that
Yeah,
either
I
can
know that.
let you draw cards or
Nail
which lets
cards.
you send cards from the deck to the
Okay,
graveyard.
that's one of those where it'd be like, it would be
Schmirkos
really
used it
fun if it
in,
was back,
Schmirkos
but
is
you
another
understand why it's banned.
It's actually a bit a shame. You know, the card is quite good, that's why it got banned.
Yeah.
But I love
Konami
to
bans
play it in
bans
my
good
Blue Eyes
cards.
deck back in the days when it got
That thing lasted
revealed
one
in
format, then was
the
emerged,
worldwide
and then was
region.
banned immediately.
It was
They
a long
knew
time only
it.
available in Japan, and then it was published and got banned quite fast.
Yeah.
So I would love to have it back from the ban list. And the card I would never want to return from the ban list.
There's a lot of cards, to be fair.
Yeah, as I said, there are a few. If they don't get any errata, one of the cards is definitely Card of the Safe Return.
Oh god, yes.
That is, if you don't remember it,
If a
that's
card's
the
for someone from your graveyard
continuous
specifically,
spare card which
you-
lets you draw one card
yeah.
every time a monster is special.
And there's
summon
so
from
many
your graveyard.
resurrection cards nowadays.
Limited once per turn, that's why it is banned. So today it would be completely OP, and it would completely break the game if it isn't on the ban list anymore. Maybe also Pot of Greed, but
Imagine
that's
if it was the
another
anime
story.
effect where you can draw
Sands,
free
which is your
cards for
all-time
every
favorite
card that
deck
comes
type
up in the
from
graveyard.
any era. Yeah, definitely Blue Eyes. It got the most support and was.
It's still getting
understand
support. They will
at the
never
top.
stop making Blue Eyes support, much as we
Almost
don't
every
want them
time.
to stop.
But to be honest, in the first years, it barely got any support.
Yes,
Later, around
but then-
2030, when the structure deck came out,
Because it
it's
was
got a lot
nostalgic
better,
at that
since
point,
then
and now
I'm
and
also
since then they
playing it.
never stopped.
So this is definitely my favorite deck time from any era. Number 3, which is your favorite duel that you scripted? That depends on several factors, because in terms of epicness, length, or the complexity of the combos, you know. But it's actually quite difficult, because there are a lot of duels I like. But I think the most epic, which the fans currently can see online,
Agaton versus Schmirko.
is the duel from RADS episode 9, Schmirkos versus Agaton.
Yep, I figured.
It's actually a rematch, but it has a lot of...
It's a rematch, but we never
back and
saw the
forth.
first one.
It's quite ironic, because Agaton has received this deck from Schmirkos, and now Schmirkos is fighting against it by himself. Agaton played a lot of cards which Schmirkos has used during the...
I just
Ultimate
find it
Master.
hilarious that after
Also,
the
a
move
lot
that
of the
after
same combos.
ROTS
I think Schmirkos was
ends,
mostly in the advantage.
Firewall becomes
He used,
unbanned with an
also
errata. It's like, god damn
a
it.
lot of stronger cards which he hasn't played before. like MacLeod Emperor Grinnell or Desperado Barrel Dragon. But he also used his favorite monster now, a bit longer, Ms the Infinity, and that monster also stayed on the field until the end of the duel. So I think when it comes to epicness, this is definitely my most favorite duel script at the moment from all I have written. When it comes to EO series, the movie series, I think from the scripts I have written for you, my most favorite is the Tamash versus Spencer duel in Link Wars.
Oh, really?
Where the two fight against each other, because the cards themselves show every time period that the series itself has gone through. You know, Benzer has played with his Red Dragon Archfiend cards, Tamash has played with his Dragonities, which both of them have used in the very first days of the series. But the duel goes also to the newest time, which means both are playing with Link monsters and yeah, with the newest supports for their decks. So when it comes to that, I think this is my favorite duel from your series. But I think I can mention this too. There are 4 projects of mine to be released. I have mentioned them. The Cyberspace Incident, the Secret Real Life Project, the Ghost Ship episode, and Yu-Gi-Oh! FD, the movie. All of them contain dual scripts from me, which
naturally,
aren't published
you
yet.
made them.
But I think when all 4 are published and you have seen them, my opinion about my most favorite dual script from me will change.
Makes
because
sense.
There will be the final battle, and I can promise you already, it will blow everything away which I have scripted so far. It contains everything which you need for a good duel, and some of the most OP and most broken combos that are currently allowed in the TCG and OCG.
Here's hoping they don't get banned before then.
So this is definitely something which you can look forward to. And if this movie is finished with this battle, this will definitely be my all-time favorite duel which I have written ever. So I can just
a lot to look forward
that
to.
you stay tuned for this. Okay, next question comes from Jman VT222 and asks, who is the Shadow Emperor that we saw in Schmirkos vs. Shadow Lord? He also appeared already in the Ultimate Link Monster at the end.
The very end, yes.
I can assure you.
Oh wait, so that was him at the end. I thought it was Shadow Lord, honestly.
You will get to know more about him in the movie at the end, because he is the final boss there, the end boss.
Of course he is.
I cannot say much about him here in the video, that would be too much of
The
a
Shadow
spoiler.
Emperor in action, eh?
But yeah, he isn't a Shadow Lord, that is important, he is a Shadow Emperor. In the Shadow Realm, this is the highest Shadow rank which a creature can achieve. And
it's something that Darkness also held.
His identity isn't known. He's a very mysterious, dark shadow creature, because he wears this completely black mask, which doesn't show anything from his face or from his body or whatever. There's no sign about him who he could be. The movie will reveal who he is and what his goals are.
I swear to God, if it's just another
from
Schmirko, I'm gonna
Philby.
just
First one is, how did you manage
not
to
do
run
anything,
into
honestly.
Thomas and Co. Yeah, I have
Yeah, here
talked
we go,
about
we're in
Lion
Burns
already,
already.
how we met. When it comes to Tamash, we have already had our first contacts in 2016. Not really private, but at the time I have made the Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro character duels, where I played with the decks from the series with Tamash decks, Spencers, Basis, and many more. And for some reason, Tamash got the attention of one of my character duels. That was against Tamash, Gold card deck with his blue eyes, and against my blue eyes. And he loved that duel so much that he actually turned this whole duel into a completely real-life episode.
Oh, really?
A special episode. It is still on YouTube until today. You can watch the link in the description. And that is, yeah, the first time we had contact. After that, we had a...
I didn't know that that was
break, and
actually
the
based
first
on
time
a
we
different
had
thing.
contact
That's
again was
very
privately
interesting.
On Facebook, I offered him to become part in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links series, which he has never released. I also made some footage already, which you can also see in the trailer. But yeah, as I said, it wasn't released and it will never be. And that contact became a bit deeper after Linked Fates, when
It's probably
Dimash
one of those
saw
things where just
the duel
behind the
which I
scenes
have
things
scripted
we're
for
not
Larion.
meant to know. And
only
that's
a few
fine.
weeks after that,
We don't have to know
he
everything.
has asked me if I want to write a few duels for his anniversary episode, today known as Link Wars. And I said, yeah, okay, fine, I will do it. Of course, the contact stayed until today. We are good friends with each other, and I think this will hold for a long time. Second question, where did Schmirko get his Diabolos Orgot drone deck from? Schmirko has built his deck in his own time, so not during the time travel, which means he also had some other cards back in his own time. Every card which he got has his own story, but as long as any episodes to his own time aren't shooted, I won't give any info about how he got his deck together. Third question, this will probably be explained in later installments, but how did Schmirko become a time traveler, and just who is he really?
Explain later.
With this question I can only also refer to the movie again, Yu-Gi-Oh! FD. Schmirko accidentally became a time traveler. That will also be made clear in the movie.
I swear to God,
There
if
will
he
also
just
be some
stumbled
flashbacks
in, if he just
which show him there.
stumbled into the
And
thing,
concerning his
into like a
personal
time machine or
background,
some
there
shit.
will also be more information in
Oi.
the movie, where he comes from, which history he can look back to, what kind of dueling career
Wicked
he has
gods.
before he got the Guardian of the Egyptian God cards, and a few more points.
I'm on a
definitely,
boat!
Look forward to the movie. I can just say this again and again. Good, and last question comes from Malek Shonka.
Hi.
I hope I pronounced it correctly.
Our
How
good
much
friend.
of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime series have you seen? Do you have a favorite character or a favorite duel from them? That's easily answered. If we count the season 0 of Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Toei, the
Oh, I like season
original
0.
anime series from 1998. I have watched that completely, I guess. I really like the series.
There's only like 24 episodes. It's not
And,
that hard to get through.
And yeah, it shows a bit more beside the card game, so it's definitely quite interesting.
So your favorite
I also
Yu-Gi-Oh! anime
have
series
watched
is
the
that?
second
Huh?
series, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, completely. JX I have also watched completely, also the 4th season from the Japanese.
Nice.
5Ds, not everything, but a lot. Also the Bonds Beyond Time movie. We can say I have watched every Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie. Bonds Beyond
There's not
Time,
there's not that
Pyramid
many
of
of
Light,
them.
and Dark Side of Dimensions.
But what about the anime movie?
And the
Like,
1999
yeah,
movie also.
that's what I was thinking of.
Then Zexe,
Not
a few episodes.
Yeah, I figured.
Maybe one complete season, but not everything. Arc 5, I haven't watched much from that, but definitely the episodes where characters from earlier series
Yeah.
had another.
I had a
appearance in the
figure.
series,
I had a
so
feeling.
Crow, Alexis, Jack Atlas, and a few other characters. And from Brains, I haven't watched any episode, or maybe 2 or 3. I haven't watched the series at all, but I think I will definitely do it sometime in the future. The newest anime, Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, I have watched the first 10 or 20 episodes, something around that, but at the moment I don't really watch it because it seems almost every episode there is a new topic, and yeah, I think it isn't like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Original series.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Sevens does something of its
When it comes
own
to
way.
my favorite character, I don't have the favorite character. I more make it like favorite protagonist and favorite antagonist. My favorite protagonist, definitely Yugi,
Yep.
the Pharaoh,
The Pharaoh,
not the little Yugi.
Little Yugi's still a nice
Because,
guy, though.
He has a lot of strength, confidence, and yeah, he's a very strong opponent. My favorite antagonist is definitely Darth, because he was one of the
Protagonist.
characters who made some pressure on the Pharaoh like no one else could. For example, when he dueled, he was able to turn the Pharaoh's life points to 0. That's, I think, no antagonist was able to do that.
Raphael says hi.
Then lost still, you know. But beside that, Darts was also able to absorb the 3 Egyptian god cards for his great Leviathan, which made him a very dangerous opponent where controlling the three
Couch is a real
buttons,
pain in the ass.
is a very dangerous thing if the antagonist has them, and he controls the power of the Orichalcos, a very strong force which even the Millennium items cannot be compared with. My favorite
Until they
duel
can.
is definitely the endgame between Yami Yugi and Seto Kaiba versus Darts. Because it shows dueling mechanics which aren't seen in any other duel before.
It's
And
called
again,
bullshit.
since then, you know, there were monsters like Orichalcos, Geigers, and the Mirror Knights, which almost cannot be destroyed or even come back stronger if you defeat them. And there are also monsters in this duel which have 5 digits of attack points.
And infinite attack points.
I think
That's never...
next time
Infinite has never been done before. It'll probably never been done. You know what? Infinite attack points will probably be done again.
You know? So it was quite a long time. I still can watch it again and again until today. I really enjoy it. Yeah, so this is definitely my favorite duel. Okay Leute, das war mein Frage-Antwort-Video für dieses Mal. Ich bin froh, dass ihr mir so viele Fragen eingesendet habt. Also es hat mich wirklich
I would have sent you some questions, Schmirkos, but I didn't really have any questions that were that important. Like, because my questions would have been about like Schmirkos, but I knew that was going to be answered later, so I just didn't have any questions.
Und ihr habt ja wirklich Fragen reingehauen. Nochmal vielen Dank dafür und vielen Dank für 8000 Abonnenten. Also
maybe do it too. Maybe I'll have some questions for then.
Muss ich ehrlich sagen. Geile Sache. Und okay. Dann würde ich sagen, was das hier für heute. Wir sehen uns beim nächsten Video wieder. Wenn euch hier das Video soweit gefallen hat und wenn ihr gerne mal ein weiteres Frage-Antwort-Video haben würdet, like das Video auf jeden Fall und schreibt unter die Kommentare, ob ihr noch ein weiteres Video haben möchtet. Also ich würde es auf jeden Fall machen, wenn ihr es möchtet. Abonniert auf jeden Fall den Kanal, falls ihr es noch nicht getan habt. Es lohnt sich auf jeden Fall für weitere Let's Plays, Real-Life-Videos und Soundtracks und weitere Sachen. Und dann, ja, das würde ich sagen, sehen wir uns beim nächsten Video wieder. Möge das Herz der
Well, I'm already subscribed to you, Schmirkos, so that's not a problem.
Und bis zum nächsten Mal. Macht's gut und ciao.
Well, it was nice to see and get some answers on some questions I had. And even though I didn't have them all answered, it's still like, I knew that most of the important ones were going to be like, I'll explain it later, guys, don't worry. So yeah, we still learned a couple of new things about the series that we didn't know before, like stuff like that. So yeah, still nice to see, and congrats on 8K subs, dude, or 8K.02 now at the time I'm recording this. But you know, auf Wiedersehen.